Admiral Han Wu stood on the bridge of the New Seoul, watching the stars drift past the main window. He had been in space for 20 years, but the sight still amazed him. The ship moved quietly through the darkness, carrying the most important mission of his career. "Admiral, we're getting a message," said Lieutenant Park Jin from his station. "It's from Earth Command." Han Wu walked over to the communication panel. The screen showed Admiral Chen, the head of the Terran Federation Navy. Her face looked serious, but her eyes showed excitement. "Han Wu, I hope you're ready for this," Admiral Chen said. "We just received first contact from a new alien race. They call themselves the Corvanic Empire. They want to meet with us." Han Wu felt his heart beat faster. First contact was always dangerous. Some alien races were friendly. Others were not. The Terran Federation had met 17 different alien species in the past 50 years. Most meetings went well, but some did not. "What do we know about them?" Han Wu asked. "Not much," Admiral Chen replied. "They control 17 star systems. They seem organized and advanced. They sent their message in perfect human language, which means they've been watching us for a while." Han Wu nodded. Smart aliens always studied humans before making contact. It was a good sign. It meant they were careful, not aggressive. "They want to meet at Epsilon Station," Admiral Chen continued. "It's neutral ground. Ambassador Kim Nari will lead the talks. You'll provide security and transport." The message ended, and Han Wu looked around his bridge. His crew was young but experienced. They had handled diplomatic missions before. The New Seoul was not a warship, but it carried enough weapons to protect itself if needed. "Set course for Epsilon Station," Han Wu ordered. "Maximum safe speed." 3 days later, the New Seoul arrived at Epsilon Station. The station was huge, built by 5 different alien races working together. It floated in empty space far from any star. No single government controlled it, which made it perfect for diplomatic meetings. Ambassador Kim Nari stood beside Han Wu as they approached the docking bay. She was small and quiet, but Han Wu knew she was one of the best diplomats in human space. She had successfully negotiated peace treaties with 3 alien races. "Have you seen their ships yet?" Kim Nari asked. "Not yet," Han Wu replied. "They said they would arrive today." As if responding to his words, the ship's sensors detected new arrivals. 3 large vessels appeared from hyperspace near the station. Han Wu stared at them through the main window. The Corvanic ships were beautiful. They looked like silver crescents, smooth and curved. Each ship was twice the size of the New Seoul. They moved with perfect coordination like dancers in space. "Impressive," Kim Nari said quietly. Dr. Lee Hanna joined them at the window. She was the team's expert on alien cultures and biology. Her job was to help Kim Nari understand how the Corvanics thought and acted. "Their ships are designed for long-range travel," Dr. Lee said, studying the vessels through her scanner. "Look at those engine arrays. They're built for speed and efficiency, not for fighting." Han Wu felt relieved. Peaceful aliens usually built peaceful ships. Warlike aliens built warships. These looked like exploration vessels or trade ships. The docking process took 2 hours. The Corvanic delegation consisted of 5 aliens, led by someone who called himself High Commander Vextar. They looked almost human, but taller and thinner. Their skin was pale blue, and their eyes were larger than human eyes. They wore simple robes in dark colors. The first meeting took place in Epsilon Station's main conference room. Kim Nari sat across from High Commander Vextar, with Dr. Lee beside her. Han Wu and his security team waited outside, but they could listen through their communication devices. "We welcome this opportunity to meet humanity," Vextar said. His voice was deep and calm. "The Corvanic Empire has watched your species for many years. We are impressed by your peaceful expansion and your fair treatment of other races." Kim Nari smiled. "Thank you, High Commander. Humanity always seeks friendship with other intelligent species. We believe the galaxy is big enough for everyone to prosper." "We agree completely," Vextar replied. "The Corvanic Empire would like to propose a trade agreement. We have advanced energy technologies that could benefit your worlds. In return, we would like access to your manufacturing capabilities and agricultural products." Dr. Lee took notes on her tablet. This sounded like a standard trade negotiation. Most alien races wanted to exchange technology for goods or goods for technology. It was how galactic commerce worked. The talks continued for 3 weeks. Every day, Kim Nari and her team met with the Corvanic delegation. They discussed trade routes, technology transfers, and cultural exchanges. The Corvanics seemed reasonable and fair. They asked for nothing unusual and offered valuable energy systems in return. Han Wu spent his time studying the Corvanic ships and security procedures. Captain Park Jin worked with the station's security force to ensure everyone's safety. Everything seemed normal. Dr. Lee, however, grew more concerned each day. She spent hours analyzing Corvanic cultural data and technology specifications. Something felt wrong, but she could not identify what it was. Their society is more military-focused than they're showing us, she told Kim Nari during one private meeting. Look at their ship designs again. Those aren't just exploration vessels. They're built for rapid deployment across long distances. Kim Nari reviewed the data. Many races have military traditions, she said. That doesn't make them aggressive. Maybe, Dr. Lee replied. But their expansion pattern is unusual. They've colonized 17 systems in less than 30 years. That's very fast, even for an advanced race. Kim Nari considered this. Fast expansion could mean many things. Maybe the Corvanics were just very efficient. Maybe they had found empty systems that were easy to colonize. Or maybe they were something else entirely. Despite Dr. Lee's concerns, the negotiations went well. Both sides drafted preliminary agreements. The Corvanics would provide energy technology to 12 human colonies. Humans would supply manufactured goods and food products to 6 Corvanic worlds. On the final day of talks, Kim Nari and High Commander Vextar signed the preliminary peace treaty. It was a historic moment. The document established formal diplomatic relations between humanity and the Corvanic Empire. This is the beginning of a profitable partnership, Vextar said as they shook hands. Kim Nari agreed. To peace and prosperity, she replied. Han Wu watched the ceremony from the observation deck. He felt proud of his species. Once again, humanity had made friends instead of enemies. The galaxy was becoming a more peaceful place. As the Corvanic delegation prepared to leave, Vextar approached Han Wu privately. Admiral, your species impresses us, the alien commander said. You build beautiful ships, but they are clearly designed for peace, not war. This shows wisdom. Han Wu nodded politely. Humanity prefers exploration and trade to conflict. Of course, Vextar replied with what might have been a smile. We respect that choice. The Corvanic ships departed that evening. Han Wu prepared the new soul for the journey back to Earth. The mission had been a complete success. What Han Wu did not know was that while he celebrated on Epsilon Station, Corvanic military fleets were moving into position around human colonies. The Empire had used the 3 weeks of talks to map human defenses and identify strategic targets. The real Corvanic plan was about to begin. Commander Otay was eating breakfast when the alarm started screaming. He jumped up from his table in the mess hall of the colony ship Busan, spilling coffee across his uniform. Around him, other crew members looked confused and frightened. The ship's emergency alarms had not sounded in over 2 years. All senior officers to the bridge immediately, came the announcement over the ship's communication system. This is not a drill. Otay ran through the corridors of his ship. The Busan was not a warship. It was a civilian colony transport, designed to carry families and supplies between human worlds. It had light defensive weapons, but nothing meant for serious fighting. When he reached the bridge, his communications officer looked pale with fear. Commander, we're receiving distress calls from New Andong Colony, she said. Multiple ships are attacking the planet. Unknown alien vessels. Otay felt cold fear in his stomach. New Andong was a peaceful agricultural world with 3 million human colonists. They grew food for 6 other star systems. The planet had no military defenses except for a small orbital station. Show me, Otay ordered. The main screen displayed a live transmission from New Andong. Otay watched in horror as massive alien ships fired on the planet's surface. The vessels were huge, each one the size of a small city. They looked like silver crescents with weapons arrays along their curved edges. Those are Corvanic ships, Dr. Yoon Sol said quietly. She was the colony's chief engineer and had studied the technical data from the recent diplomatic meetings. But there are so many of them. Otay counted 12 large warships in orbit around New Andong. Each ship was launching smaller fighter craft that swarmed toward the planet's defensive stations. The human defenders were firing back, but their weapons seemed to have no effect on the alien vessels. Get me a communication channel to New Andong Control, Otay ordered. The transmission was filled with static and interference. A human voice came through, screaming over the sound of explosions. This is New Andong control to any ships in the area. We are under attack by Corvanic forces. Repeat, Corvanic Empire vessels are bombing civilian targets. Our defenses are failing. We need immediate assistance. The transmission cut to static. On the screen, Otay watched one of the planet's orbital platforms explode in a ball of fire. The Corvanic ships continued their bombardment, targeting cities and farming complexes. Sir, we're receiving similar distress calls from 11 other colonies, the communications officer reported. Tau Ceti, New Incheon, Kepler 442b, Ross 128. They're all under attack. Otay stared at the tactical display showing human space. Red warning symbols appeared across the map as colony after colony reported Corvanic attacks. The assault was happening simultaneously across hundreds of light years. This was not a random attack. This was a coordinated invasion. How many ships do we have in the area? Otay asked. Just us and 3 civilian transports, his tactical officer replied. The nearest Terran Navy ship is 6 days away at maximum speed. Otay made a quick decision. The Busan could not fight 12 Corvanic warships, but it could save lives. Set course for New Andong, he ordered. Maximum speed. Prepare all cargo bays for emergency evacuation. Send a message to those civilian transports. Tell them to join us. Sir, that's suicide, his first officer protested. Those ships will destroy us. Maybe, Otay replied. But we can't leave 3 million people to die. The Busan and 3 other civilian ships raced toward New Andong. During the 6-hour journey, Otay listened to radio transmissions from the doomed planet. The Corvanic attack was methodical and brutal. They targeted infrastructure first, then military installations, then civilian population centers. When they arrived at New Andong, Otay saw a scene from a nightmare. The planet's surface glowed with fires visible from space. The orbital stations were gone, reduced to debris fields. The Corvanic ships hung in space like predators, continuing their bombardment. 4 ships approaching from hyperspace, his sensor operator announced. They're civilian vessels, but they're not responding to our hails. Otay watched as the 4 ships moved toward the planet. They were human colony transports, but something was wrong. As they got closer, he could see damage to their hulls and missing sections. Those ships are full of refugees, Dr. Yoon realized. They're trying to evacuate people from the surface. The Corvanic ships noticed the approaching transports. 6 of the massive warships turned toward them, weapons charging. Otay knew the civilian ships had no chance against such firepower. All ships, this is Commander Otay of the Busan, he broadcast on an open channel. We're here to help with the evacuation. Corvanic vessels, please allow humanitarian rescue operations. The response came from one of the Corvanic warships. The voice was cold and mechanical. Human vessels, you will withdraw immediately or be destroyed. This system is now under Corvanic control. Otay looked at his crew. They were afraid, but they were also angry. These were their people dying on the planet below. Send a message to Earth Command, Otay ordered. Tell them what we've seen here. Tell them the Corvanics lied about everything. The Busan and the other rescue ships worked frantically for the next 4 hours. They managed to evacuate nearly 50,000 people from New Andong before the Corvanic ships finally lost patience and opened fire. Tay watched 2 of the civilian transports explode under Corvanic plasma cannons. The Busan barely escaped with its cargo holds packed with refugees. As they jumped to hyperspace, Otay took one last look at New Andong. The planet was dying. 3 million people had lived there that morning. Now the world was a burning wasteland. Back on Earth, the Terran Federation Council met in emergency session. Admiral Chen stood before the assembled representatives, her face grim with anger and sorrow. The reports are confirmed, she announced. 12 human colonies are under attack by Corvanic forces. Estimated casualties are in the millions. General Lim Dong stepped forward. He was an old soldier who had warned against trusting the Corvanic Empire. His concerns had been dismissed as paranoia. The Corvanics used our diplomatic talks to study our defenses, General Lim said. While Ambassador Kim was negotiating in good faith, they were positioning their fleets around our colonies. This was planned from the beginning. The council chamber erupted in angry voices. Some representatives called for immediate military response. Others demanded rescue operations for the surviving colonies. A few suggested attempting new diplomatic contact. Silence, Admiral Chen shouted. We have bigger problems. Long-range sensors show Corvanic fleets moving toward our core systems. They're not stopping with the outer colonies. The tactical display showed the grim reality. Massive Corvanic forces were advancing on Earth, Mars, and the other central human worlds. The enemy had overwhelming numbers and superior technology. "How long do we have?" asked Representative Park from the Mars delegation. 72 hours, Admiral Chen replied. Maybe less. Meanwhile, Ambassador Kim Nari sat in her quarters on Epsilon Station, watching news reports from the attacked colonies. She felt sick with guilt and rage. The Corvanics had played her perfectly, using her desire for peace against her own species. High Commander Vextar appeared on her door screen, requesting entry. Kim Nari considered refusing, but she needed to understand why this had happened. "Ambassador Kim," Vextar said as he entered her quarters. "I apologize for the deception." "Apologize?" Kim Nari stood up, her hands shaking with anger. "Your people are murdering millions of innocent civilians." "War is unfortunate," Vextar replied calmly. "But your species left us no choice. Humanity is expanding too quickly. Your peaceful nature makes other races comfortable, which threatens Corvanic interests." Kim Nari stared at him. "You're afraid of us because we make friends instead of enemies?" "Precisely," Vextar said. "A galaxy united under human influence would have no place for the Corvanic Empire. We must act while you are still weak." "We trusted you," Kim Nari said quietly. "That was your mistake," Vextar replied. "Trust is a luxury only the strong can afford. Your Federation Council has 72 hours to surrender unconditionally. If you refuse, we will destroy every human world." Vextar left Kim Nari alone with her thoughts. She knew the Terran Federation would never surrender, even facing impossible odds. Humanity would fight even if it meant extinction. What neither Kim Nari nor Vextar knew was that humanity had been preparing for this possibility for decades. Deep in classified military facilities, projects that officially did not exist were being activated. The Corvanic Empire was about to learn that there was a difference between a peaceful species and a helpless one. News of the Kepler battle spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Supreme Admiral Song Wook stood in the Terran Federation's command center on Earth, watching intelligence reports flow in from dozens of star systems. Every major government in known space was trying to understand what had happened when 6 Corvanic warships met one human battleship. "Admiral, we're receiving communication requests from the Alteran Republic, the Centauri Trade Union, and 17 other governments," his communications officer reported. "They all want to know about our new ship capabilities." Song Wook smiled for the first time since the invasion began. The galaxy's political balance had just shifted dramatically. For 50 years, the Corvanic Empire had intimidated other species through displays of overwhelming military force. Now everyone wanted to know if humanity could protect them from Corvanic aggression. "Tell them we're evaluating new defensive partnerships," Song Wook replied. "But first we have a war to finish." He turned to the massive tactical display that showed the positions of Corvanic and human forces throughout local space. The enemy still controlled 12 human star systems, but their fleets were no longer advancing toward Earth. The victory at Kepler had made them cautious. "What's the status of the Soul's Fury?" Song Wook asked. "Captain Cho Min is requesting new orders," Admiral Chen replied from her station. "His ship suffered minimal damage in the Kepler engagement. All systems are operational." Song Wook studied the tactical situation. The Corvanics had concentrated their forces around the captured human colonies, expecting to defend against rescue attempts. They had built their strategy around the assumption that humanity was technologically inferior. That assumption was about to cost them everything. "Give Captain Cho new orders," Song Wook decided. "Deep strike mission into Corvanic territory. I want him to visit their military installations and demonstrate what happens when diplomacy fails." Meanwhile, aboard the Soul's Fury, Captain Cho Min received his new orders with grim satisfaction. The mission parameters were simple. Destroy Corvanic military targets and avoid civilian casualties. The goal was not conquest but education. "Lieutenant Kang, plot a course for the Corvanic forward base at Rigel," Cho Min ordered. "It's time to take this war to their territory." The Soul's Fury entered hyperspace and vanished from human sensors. For the next 6 days, the ship moved through Corvanic space like a ghost, striking military targets with surgical precision. The first target was a supply depot that supported 3 Corvanic fleets. The Soul's Fury appeared without warning, destroyed the entire facility with quantum torpedoes, and disappeared before the local defense forces could respond. Cho Min made sure to broadcast a message before leaving. This is the price of attacking human civilians. The second target was a Corvanic military academy where young aliens trained to become officers. Instead of destroying the facility, Cho Min positioned his ship in orbit and transmitted technical specifications of human weapons directly to the Academy's communication system. "We could destroy this installation," his message stated. "We choose not to. Study these weapon profiles and ask yourselves if continued aggression is wise." The third target was a major Corvanic naval shipyard. The Soul's Fury systematically destroyed 12 warships under construction, then used the quantum cascade cannon to cut the shipyard itself into pieces. The facility that had taken decades to build was reduced to scrap metal in 20 minutes. After each attack, Cho Min sent the same message to Corvanic Command. "Humanity seeks peace. Continue this war and face the consequences." High Commander Vextar watched the reports of human attacks with growing desperation. His military advisors assured him that humanity could not have many ships like the Soul's Fury, but they could not explain how one vessel was destroying installations across multiple star systems. "How are they moving so fast?" Vextar demanded. "Our sensors show the human ship in 3 different systems within the same day." "Unknown, High Commander," his chief scientist replied. "Their quantum drive technology appears far more advanced than our intelligence indicated. It's possible they can travel between stars in hours rather than days." Vextar realized his empire faced a catastrophic strategic problem. The Corvanic military had been designed to fight enemies who followed predictable patterns. They built large fleets, captured territory, and defended fixed positions. Humanity was fighting a completely different kind of war. The human strategy was devastatingly effective. Instead of trying to recapture lost colonies, they were destroying the Corvanic Empire's ability to maintain its conquests. Every military base, supply depot, and communication relay in Corvanic space had become a potential target. "Sir, we're receiving casualty reports from the occupied human systems," Vextar's intelligence officer announced. "Our garrison forces are requesting immediate reinforcement." "Why?" Vextar asked. "The human colonies have been pacified." "Not exactly, sir. It appears the human colonists are conducting organized resistance operations. They're using Corvanic weapons captured during the initial attacks to strike our installations." Vextar felt a chill of fear. The Corvanic Empire had never faced sustained resistance from conquered populations. Most species surrendered completely after losing their military forces. Humans were different. Even without military support, they continued fighting. On the 7th day of the Soul's Furies campaign, Captain Cho Min received new orders from Earth. Instead of continuing attacks on military targets, he was directed to the Corvanic capital system. "Sir, those orders don't make sense," Lieutenant Kang Yu said as she read the message. "We're supposed to enter their home system but not attack anything." "Read it again," Cho Min replied. "We're going to deliver a message." The Soul's Fury appeared in the Corvanic capital system without warning, bypassing 3 defensive fleets through superior speed and stealth technology. The ship positioned itself in orbit around the main Corvanic world and activated every communication array in the system. Captain Cho Min's message was broadcast to every Corvanic ship, station, and planetary facility simultaneously. "I am Captain Cho Min of the Terran Federation battleship Soul's Fury. 7 days ago, your fleets attacked innocent human civilians. Since then, I have destroyed 43 of your military installations across 6 star systems." The transmission showed footage from each attack, demonstrating the complete helplessness of Corvanic defenses against human technology. "Your empire chose war over peace," Cho Min continued. "You used our diplomacy as a weapon against us. Now you face the consequences of that choice." The image changed to show the Soul's Fury's weapon arrays, all trained on the planet below. "I could destroy your capital world with a single command. I could end your civilization in minutes. But humanity does not wage war against civilians even when our enemies do." Cho Min paused, letting the implications sink in throughout the Corvanic Empire. "You have one choice remaining. End this war now, or face the full military might of humanity. We tried to be your friends. You made us your enemies. The galaxy will never make that mistake again." The transmission ended, and the Soul's Fury vanished into hyperspace before the stunned Corvanic defense forces could react. Within hours, High Commander Vextar was receiving panicked communications from across the Empire. Military commanders who had seemed invincible weeks earlier were now demanding immediate peace negotiations. The psychological impact of a human warship appearing in their home system had shattered Corvanic confidence completely. 3 days later, Ambassador Park Yoon arrived at Epsilon Station aboard the Soul's Fury. Unlike the previous diplomatic mission, this time humanity negotiated from a position of strength. High Commander Vexitar looked older and more tired than before. The confident alien leader who had betrayed humanity's trust now seemed desperate for any agreement that would end the war. Ambassador Park, the Corvanic Empire is prepared to discuss terms, Vexitar said as the negotiations began. I'm not here to negotiate, Park Yoon replied coldly. I'm here to accept your surrender and dictate the terms of peace. The final treaty was signed on the bridge of the Soul's Fury, with Captain Cho Min and his crew as witnesses. The Corvanic Empire agreed to return all occupied human territory, pay massive reparations for the destroyed colonies, and accept permanent monitoring of their military activities. Most importantly, they agreed to broadcast the true story of the war to every government in the galaxy. The message was simple. Humanity preferred peace, but those who chose war against them would face overwhelming retaliation. Ambassador Kim Nari, who had witnessed the entire conflict from beginning to end, stood beside Ambassador Park as the treaty was finalized. She had learned a bitter lesson about the nature of diplomacy in a dangerous galaxy. The Corvanics were right about one thing, Kim Nari said quietly. Trust is a luxury only the strong can afford. No, Ambassador Park replied. Trust is something the strong can choose to give. But when that trust is betrayed, the consequences must be severe enough to prevent others from making the same mistake. Captain Cho Min watched the signing ceremony from his command chair. His ship had become a symbol of human determination and technological capability. More importantly, it had proven that humanity could defend itself and its values when threatened. Captain Cho Min had been waiting for this call his entire military career. He stood in the secure briefing room deep beneath the Terran Naval Academy on Earth, looking at Admiral Chen and 3 other high-ranking officers he did not recognize. Their faces were serious and the room felt heavy with secrets. Captain Cho, Admiral Chen began, what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. Project Dragon has been authorized for immediate deployment. Cho Min felt his heart race. Every officer in the Terran Navy had heard rumors about Project Dragon, but few knew the details. It was supposedly a theoretical research program, studying advanced warship design. Most people thought it did not really exist. Project Dragon is real, Admiral Chen continued. For the past 12 years, we have been building and testing technologies that we hoped we would never need to use. Today, that hope died with the colonies. One of the unknown officers stepped forward. He was tall and thin, with the look of someone who spent more time in laboratories than on starships. Captain, I am Dr. Kim Han, Director of the Advanced Weapons Research Division, the man said. Project Dragon has produced one operational vessel. The Soul's Fury represents everything we have learned about warfare in the past 50 years. Cho Min had never heard of a ship called the Soul's Fury. According to official Navy records, no such vessel existed. Sir, I don't understand, Cho Min said. The fleet registry shows no ship by that name. Because officially it doesn't exist, Admiral Chen replied. The Soul's Fury is listed as a heavy cruiser undergoing extended testing. In reality, it is the most advanced battleship humanity has ever built. Dr. Kim activated a holographic display that showed a ship unlike anything Cho Min had ever seen. It looked similar to standard Terran Navy cruisers, but larger and with strange modifications along the hull. Weapon arrays were built into the ship's structure in ways that seemed impossible. The ship carries experimental technologies that are too dangerous for normal deployment, Dr. Kim explained. Quantum torpedoes that can phase through standard armor, adaptive shielding that can absorb and redirect energy weapons, AI-assisted targeting systems that can track hundreds of targets simultaneously. Why are you telling me this? Cho Min asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. Because you're going to command her, Admiral Chen said. Captain Cho, you have the best combat record in the fleet. Your tactics during the Rigel border conflict were studied at the Academy for years. If anyone can make the Soul's Fury effective against the Corvanics, it's you. Cho Min thought about the burning colonies he had seen on the news feeds. Millions of human civilians were dead or dying while Corvinic fleets advanced toward Earth. The enemy had overwhelming numbers and superior firepower. One ship, even an advanced one, seemed insignificant against such odds. "What are my orders?" Cho Min asked. "Reconnaissance," replied the third officer, a woman Cho Min now recognized as Admiral Park from Intelligence Division. "The Corvanics have occupied 12 systems. We need to know their fleet positions and capabilities. The Soul's Fury will conduct a survey mission of the Kepler system." "A reconnaissance mission?" Cho Min frowned. "Sir, with respect, our colonies are being slaughtered. Shouldn't we be mounting rescue operations?" Admiral Chen's expression darkened. "Captain, there is nothing left to rescue in most of those systems. The Corvanics are not interested in occupation. They are systematically destroying every human installation they find." Dr. Kim pulled up tactical displays showing the attacked colonies. The images were horrifying. Entire worlds had been bombed into wasteland. Space stations were reduced to debris fields. The Corvanic strategy was clear: total elimination of human presence. "The enemy believes they have already won," Admiral Park said. "They think humanity is defenseless. Your mission is to gather intelligence while maintaining that illusion." "When do I leave?" Cho Min asked. "Now," Admiral Chen replied. "Your crew is already aboard and ready for departure. They are all volunteers from the attacked colonies. Every person on that ship has personal reasons to fight." 2 hours later, Cho Min stood on the bridge of the Soul's Fury. The ship felt different from any vessel he had commanded before. The bridge was larger, with more stations and displays. The crew moved with quiet efficiency, but he could sense their anger and determination. Lieutenant Kang Yu stood at the weapons station. She was young, maybe 25, but her file showed extensive combat training. Her family had lived on New Inshan before the Corvanic attack. "Lieutenant, status report," Cho Min ordered. "All weapon systems are green, Captain," Kang Yu replied. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed pain. "Quantum torpedo tubes are loaded and ready. Energy weapons are charged. Defensive systems are online." Chief Petty Officer Jian Hai approached from the engineering station. She was a veteran with 15 years of service, known for keeping ships running under impossible conditions. "Captain, the ship is ready for departure," she reported. "All systems are operating within normal parameters. The quantum drive is charged and waiting for your command." Colonel Bayek Jun joined them on the bridge. He commanded the ship's Marine detachment, soldiers trained for boarding actions and ground combat. His men came from 3 different colonies that had been destroyed by the Corvanics. "Sir, the Marines are ready," Colonel Bayek said. "We have full combat loads and zero-G assault gear. If we encounter enemy ships, we can take them." Cho Min looked around at his crew. These people had lost everything to the Corvanic invasion. Their homes were gone, their families were dead or missing. But instead of despair, he saw determination in their faces. "All stations, prepare for departure," Cho Min announced. "Our mission is reconnaissance, but I want everyone ready for combat. The enemy thinks humans are weak. Today we begin teaching them otherwise." The Soul's Fury left Earth's orbital shipyards under cover of a routine cargo convoy. To any observers, it looked like just another heavy cruiser heading for the outer systems. The ship's true capabilities were hidden behind sophisticated camouflage systems. During the 3-day journey to the Kepler system, Cho Min studied enemy intelligence reports and familiarized himself with the ship's systems. The Soul's Fury was indeed extraordinary. It carried enough firepower to destroy a small fleet, but it could also operate in complete stealth mode. Dr. Jian Hai gave him a tour of the engineering sections. The ship's power systems were unlike anything in the standard fleet. Quantum reactors provided massive energy output while remaining virtually undetectable. The adaptive shielding could absorb enemy fire and convert it into additional power. "Captain, this ship was designed for one purpose," Dr. Jian explained: "to fight enemies that significantly outnumber us. Every system is built for maximum combat effectiveness." Lieutenant Kang Yu showed him the weapons arrays. The quantum torpedoes were particularly impressive. They could phase through solid matter and detonate inside enemy ships, bypassing armor entirely. The energy weapons could fire continuously without overheating, thanks to the advanced cooling systems. "Sir, these weapons are designed to kill ships much larger than us," Kang Yu said. "The Corvanics won't expect this level of firepower from a human vessel." On the 3rd day, they reached the edge of the Kepler system. Long-range sensors detected 6 Corvanic warships on patrol near the planet, where New Kepler colony had once thrived. The planet's surface still glowed with fires from the recent bombardment. "Captain, the enemy ships have detected us," the sensor operator reported. "They're changing course to intercept." Cho Min watched the tactical display as the 6 Corvanic vessels moved toward them. Each ship was 3 times the size of the Soul's Fury. According to intelligence reports, they carried devastating plasma weapons and energy shields that could absorb massive damage. "Sir, should we withdraw?" asked his first officer. Cho Min thought about the burning colonies and the millions of dead civilians. He thought about Ambassador Kim Nari's failed diplomatic mission and the Corvanic betrayal. Most of all, he thought about his crew who had lost everything to these invaders. "No," Cho Min said quietly. "We're not running anymore." He opened a ship-wide communication channel so every member of his crew could hear his words. "All stations, this is the captain. Our reconnaissance mission has just become a combat operation. The enemy believes they are hunting a defenseless human cruiser. They are about to learn how wrong they are." Cho Min paused, looking at the faces of his bridge crew. These people trusted him to lead them into battle against impossible odds. "Today we show the galaxy what happens when you attack humanity's innocent. Today we teach the Corvanic Empire the price of underestimating human resolve." The Soul's Fury dropped its stealth camouflage and revealed its true nature as the most advanced warship humanity had ever built. The battle for the Kepler system was about to begin. The first Corvanic plasma blast hit the Soul's Fury with the force of a nuclear explosion. Captain Cho Min gripped his command chair as the ship shook violently. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with deadly calm. The bridge lights flickered for a moment, then stabilized as the ship's systems compensated for the massive energy strike. Adaptive shields absorbed 93% of the impact. Chief Petty Officer Jian Hai reported from her engineering station. "Power levels are actually increasing." Cho Min smiled grimly. The Corvanics had just made their first mistake. They had fed energy directly into the Soul's Fury's most advanced defensive system. The adaptive shields were designed to absorb enemy fire and convert it into additional power for weapons and engines. "Lieutenant Kang, return fire," Cho Min ordered. "Target the lead Corvanic vessel. Quantum torpedoes full spread." Firing quantum torpedoes, Kang Yu announced. Her fingers moved across her weapons console with practiced precision. "Torpedoes away." 6 blue streaks of light shot from the Soul's Fury toward the largest Corvanic warship. The enemy vessel, a massive dreadnought called the Corvangak, tried to evade the incoming weapons, but quantum torpedoes did not behave like normal missiles. Instead of striking the ship's armor, the torpedoes phased through the outer hull as if it were empty space. They materialized inside the enemy vessel and detonated simultaneously in the ship's reactor compartments. The Corvangak erupted in a chain of explosions that lit up the entire star system. The ship's massive frame twisted and broke apart as its power systems overloaded. Debris scattered in all directions, glowing with radioactive fire. "Direct hit," Kang Yu reported, her voice filled with satisfaction. "Enemy dreadnought is destroyed." The remaining 5 Corvanic ships immediately changed their attack pattern. They had expected to overwhelm a single human cruiser with concentrated fire. Instead, they had just watched their flagship die in seconds. "Enemy vessels are spreading out," the tactical officer announced. "They're trying to surround us." Cho Min studied the tactical display. The Corvanic ships were moving into a standard encirclement formation. It was a good strategy against most opponents, but the Soul's Fury was not most opponents. "Chief Jian, give me everything the engines can handle," Cho Min ordered. "We're going to show them how fast this ship can move." "Aye, Captain. Quantum drive at maximum output." The Soul's Fury suddenly accelerated to impossible speeds. The ship moved like a fighter craft despite being the size of a battleship. The Corvanic vessels, built for overwhelming firepower rather than maneuverability, could not match the human ship's agility. Cho Min directed his ship in a complex attack pattern that brought them close to each enemy vessel in turn. The Soul's Fury would appear near a Corvanic ship, unleash devastating firepower, then disappear before the enemy could respond effectively. The second Corvanic vessel, a heavy cruiser, tried to ram the human ship when conventional weapons proved ineffective. The alien vessel was twice the size of the Soul's Fury, and its captain probably expected to crush the smaller ship through sheer mass. "Colonel Beck, prepare boarding parties," Cho Min ordered as the enemy ship approached. "We're going to take that ship intact." "Marines ready, sir," Colonel Beck replied from his station. Assault shuttles are loaded and standing by. As the Corvinet cruiser closed the distance, the Soul's Fury suddenly reversed direction and matched the enemy's course. Instead of avoiding the ramming attempt, Cho Min brought his ship alongside the alien vessel. Magnetic grapples. Engage, Cho Min commanded. Heavy magnetic clamps shot from the Soul's Fury's hull and locked onto the Corvanic ship. The two vessels were now connected, moving through space as a single unit. The alien crew probably thought the humans had made a fatal mistake. They were wrong. Boarding shuttles. Launch, Colonel Beck announced. Small assault craft shot from the Soul's Fury's launch bays and attached themselves to the Corvanic ship's hull. Marines in powered armor used plasma cutters to burn through the alien vessel's outer hull. Within minutes, human soldiers were fighting inside the enemy ship. The Corvanics had never faced humans in close combat. Their species was tall and strong, but they relied on superior technology rather than personal fighting skills. The human Marines, motivated by rage and grief over their lost colonies, fought with a ferocity that shocked the alien crew. Enemy bridge secured, Colonel Beck reported over the communication system. Ship is under our control. Meanwhile, the remaining 3 Corvanic vessels continued their attack on the Soul's Fury. Their plasma weapons struck the human ship repeatedly, but the adaptive shields absorbed each blast and converted the energy into additional power. Lieutenant Kang Yu used that power to charge the ship's most devastating weapon, the quantum cascade cannon. This experimental system could fire a sustained beam of destructive energy that would tear apart molecular bonds in any target. Quantum cascade cannon is ready, Kang Yu announced. Target locked on the 3rd enemy vessel. Fire, Cho Min ordered. A brilliant beam of purple energy shot from the Soul's Fury and struck the Corvanic battleship. The alien vessel's shields lasted less than 3 seconds before collapsing. The beam cut through the ship's hull like a knife through paper, splitting the massive vessel in half. Both sections of the destroyed ship exploded simultaneously, creating a brief new star in the darkness of space. The 2 remaining Corvanic ships tried to retreat, but Chief John Hai had anticipated this. She had been using the ship's quantum drive to predict the enemy's escape vectors. Captain, I can intercept both vessels if we alter course by 15 degrees, she reported. Do it, Cho Min replied. The Soul's Fury released the captured Corvanic cruiser and accelerated toward the fleeing enemy ships. The human vessel moved so fast that it seemed to teleport across space, appearing directly between the 2 alien ships. Surrounded and outmaneuvered, the Corvanic commanders made a desperate decision. They fired everything they had at the human ship, hoping to destroy it through overwhelming firepower. Dozens of plasma bolts and energy beams struck the Soul's Fury from both sides. The ship's adaptive shields absorbed the massive attack and converted it into the largest power surge the systems had ever handled. Shield efficiency at 130%, Chief Jian reported with amazement. We're generating more power than our reactors can produce. Lieutenant Kang Yu used that enormous energy surge to fire every weapon on the ship simultaneously. Quantum torpedoes, energy cannons, and the cascade beam all struck the 2 Corvanic vessels at the same moment. The resulting explosions were visible from 3 star systems away. When the light faded, the Soul's Fury floated alone among the debris of 6 enemy warships. The battle had lasted exactly 4 hours and 17 minutes. A single human vessel had destroyed an entire Corvanic patrol fleet. Damage report, Cho Min requested. Minor hull scoring from plasma hits, Chief John replied. All systems functioning normally. Casualty report shows 0 injuries among the crew. Cho Min looked around his bridge. His crew had just accomplished the impossible. They had not only survived a battle against overwhelming odds, they had won decisively. Communications, send a message to Fleet Command, Cho Min ordered. Tell them the Kepler system is clear of enemy forces. Tell them we're ready for the next mission. The tactical officer activated the ship's long-range communication array. Within minutes, the news of the victory would reach Earth and the other human worlds. What Cho Min did not know was that the battle had been detected by sensors throughout the galaxy. Every major power in known space had monitored the energy signatures from the Kepler system. They had all seen the impossible, a single human ship destroying 6 superior enemy vessels. The Corvanic Empire, which had built its reputation on military invincibility, suddenly faced a terrifying possibility. If humanity could build one ship like the Soul's Fury, they could build others. High Commander Vextar received the news of the Kepler defeat while aboard his flagship near the human core worlds. He stared at the tactical reports with growing horror. According to his military advisors, the human vessel had displayed impossible capabilities. How many ships like this do they have? Vextar demanded. Unknown, High Commander, his intelligence officer replied. Our agents never detected any construction projects of this magnitude. It's possible this was their only advanced vessel. Or it's possible they've been hiding an entire fleet, Vextar said grimly. For the first time since the invasion began, the Corvanic commander wondered if his empire had made a terrible mistake. They had attacked humanity believing it was a weak, peaceful species. Now they faced the possibility that humans had been hiding their true capabilities all along. The war was about to enter a new phase, and the Corvanic Empire was no longer certain of victory.